wife, but let me tell you something. Being a wife is making sure you have the soap powder. The wife is making sure you might throw those clothes in the washing machine. Being a wife is not coming to pick up your drawers after you. That is not.
Who said you had to pick up the drawers? That's what said y'all want to go do it. This is my point here with that. Yeah. We always act like that's such a big thing. Like, I know, especially for the women. Wait a minute. Especially for the women that got kids. Y'all should be cleaning the house anyway. Y'all should be cooking anyway. So you cook.
Great catch. I'm a great wife. I'm a great this. And it's like that hasn't been validated.
All these single girls are yours too. I don't know.
The one thing that I'm seeing is that when you're dealing with a grown-ass man,
there it is.
He has a vision and a purpose for his life.
Facts.
What he wants in the future. And what I see is that a lot of these modern women don't want to fall into and play their part in that purpose and in that vision because they have their own purpose and their own vision. I think a lot of women get it confused. Not your responsibility to motivate a man.
Right.
A man should have his own motivation, his own direction. Your job is to inspire. It's a complete difference. I think a lot of ladies get a man.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Kandid Konvos. I'm your host, Quay Price. We got Chloe on deck. We got Vince on deck. We got a little feedback coming through, Vince. Say what's up to the people, y'all.
Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Yeah, Vince, what we're going to do, man, at the end of the show, man, stick around. I just want to let's try to check your settings, man, and make sure everything is in sync. Because something is causing that noise, but yeah, we'll work it out as we always do. But yeah, shout out to everybody joining us tonight. Man, let's drop a comment, let us know where you're checking in from. We appreciate you guys as always rocking with the platform and supporting what we do here on Kandid Konvos. Let me check some of these comments real fast as we get into the show. Shout out to Crystal Reed in the building. She said, good evening, everyone. What's going on with you, Crystal? We appreciate you supporting us tonight. Getting ready for this hot one right now. Appreciate you. My guy Donovan, he said, what up, what's up? What's going on with you, brother? Appreciate you as always, man. Appreciate you as always. Shout out to Kenyatta in the building. She said, hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Okay, we got IT. Nicole in the building. She said, hey, what's going on, IT? What's going on? See, IT been a little quiet lately. You got to start checking in, IT. You got to start checking in. But shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to YouTube as well. See, we got some YouTube folks rocking right now. So shout out to YouTube as well. Shout out to YouTube as well. Man, it feel like it's been a minute since we've been on here. Yeah, I don't know why I feel like it's been so long. But man, shout out to y'all. I said, I know y'all, I don't know if I told you, Chloe, sometimes I get these little DMs, these little messages when we miss a night. It's like folks be mad. Folks be mad when we miss a night. Oh man, they be mad. But it's all love. Like I said, we're trying to do big things over here at Kandid Konvos. We appreciate the support. And like I said, we try to keep it consistent every Wednesday, but sometimes, we got to take a break.
We got to take a little vacay, y'all. Yeah,
we got to get a vacay or something. Let me slide down to my guy Vince. So Vince, I know you was out there and about doing your thing out on the West Coast, man. I was checking some videos trying to see if you got caught up, man. What
it was good. It was good y'all took a vacation because I was in LA and Vegas these last couple weeks.
There it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Had a really nice time.
Good. I was checking the shade room, man, to make sure, that shit didn't slide up, man. I know you said you was gonna lock it down.
Nah, he got real close though, but I gave him the eye and he stepped back.
Amen. Yeah, I sure was checking, man. I said, don't let me see Vince up on here.
No.
No, I ain't mad at that. Sound like it was a good time, man.
Oh yeah, great time.
All right,
good stuff. That was actually my second time seeing him, and he put on a phenomenal performance again.
Okay, good stuff. Good to hear. All right, well, let me do this real quick while I'm thinking about it. Hit your mute real quick, Vince. Let me do this real quick while I'm thinking about it. All right, so here's the link to join us on the panel. So you can drop this in your Google Chrome, your Microsoft Edge, your Apple device. If you are coming through an Apple device, you do have to use Safari. So just keep that in mind. So use the Safari browser if you come through an Apple device. We always encourage you to keep your camera on, but you do have the ability to turn your camera off if you choose. But we ask that you keep it on for better show, better engagement. Plus, I said we want to see your face. So let's say here's the link right here. Definitely come join us on the panel. We also have this link in all of the chat feeds, so you can catch it at the Kandid Konvos page on YouTube or Facebook. Or you can shoot me a message at Quay Price on Facebook, and I'll send it straight to you. So we'll make it nice and easy. But we'll lead us up here for a little bit. For anybody who may want to join us on the panel who ain't scared. And then let's say you can also drop a comment and we'll get it to you that way as well. Okay. So I think I covered all. One more thing. While I got everybody on here right now, see, we got a chunk of folks viewing right now. Do me a favor, everybody who's watching, and hit the like button for us. Hit the like button. Likes are free. So hit the like button for us if you're watching us right now. And also, like I said, if you're so inclined, hit that share button. Like I said, we want to get this show out to as many of our people as possible so we can change our trajectory as a whole. So definitely hit that share button and definitely hit that like button for us. Appreciate it. All right. So y'all ready to go and get on into this? Guess we in and let's go. All right. So I'm going to drop this link down for a minute. Anybody drop a comment if you need the link. So topic for tonight. Can men be vulnerable with women? Run that back. Topic for tonight. Can men be vulnerable with women? All right. So I got a couple videos tonight. I got to see which ones I'm gonna kick off. I got about 6 videos that came my way. So I think this topic about to go there. You know what? I'm gonna start with this one. Right here. So let's get on into this conversation.
With a man vulnerability. 1. And if you fumble the bag, it'll never happen again. He will never open up to you again, and he will never express himself to you again. Like, man, very sensitive in that regard, man. It's because, society kind of programs us to be just hard and, cold and doing whatever we got to do to survive outside, and oftentimes that works to the detriment of our relationship and don't allow us to really open up to our woman like we may want to or should. But, as women, y'all got to understand that plight. So when he does open up to him, and a lot of women do this, man, open up, say something about himself, that's vulnerable, and then it'll be thrown in his face next time she get mad or something like that. The minute you do that, it's over. He'll never open up to you again. He'll never respect you again. That's just what it is. So you burn that bridge to the ground. You might as well leave a relationship.
He said you might as well leave that relationship. Okay. I might slide one more in there. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna drop another one. Got a female on this side. We're gonna drop one more too.
I'm not a man and I will never be a man. However, I'm not willing to debate what I'm about to say. So I low-key feel like now that I've healed and I look at relationships differently, men get the short end of the stick because you're not allowed to be sensitive, but how dare you not talk to me about how you feeling? Don't be emotionally constipated, but if you tell me too much how you really feeling, then I don't believe that you're man enough for me. I don't want you to be this superhuman all the time, but you can't take that S off your chest. Do not sit the world down off of your shoulders around me because I'm not willing to pick it up and help shoulder it. Like, you can't have boundaries. You can't have standards. You can't require a woman bring something to the table that you set before she was even in the picture. You're not allowed to have a broken heart. You're not allowed to be afraid of love. You're not allowed to have walls. You're not allowed to be vulnerable. There are so many things that the world will not allow you to do, but they also expect you to do the same thing.
Ooh-wee, they coming tonight. Okay, well, let me go ahead and kick it off, and then we're gonna get right on into this.
You keep doing this, your man will never open up to you. If you keep making your man the problem, when he brings you a problem, he will shut down and never open up to you again. You know, it's really sad because every time he comes to you with an issue, he becomes the issue. You had these bag of rocks that you didn't bring up. So it seemed like you were waiting to bring this stuff up when I bring you a problem. Well, now is not the time to bring up your problem. Now is the time for us to address my problem that I have with you. And don't get me wrong, like, your problems may be valid, but there's a time and a place for your problems. If you keep bringing up your problems when he brings you a problem, what you're doing is you're making it about you. It's not about you. It's about him. So you need to ask him questions. Questions like, hey, baby, what is it that I did that made you feel that way? I'm sorry for making you feel that way. What can I do better so that you don't end up feeling that way in the future? And after you guys have fully addressed his problem, at that point in time, you can bring up your problem. But don't bring up your problem if you haven't fully addressed his problem. Because basically what you're doing is you're making him the problem. And he's going to shut down if you keep doing that.
Okay, topic for the night. Can men be vulnerable with women? Okay, so I said I hit y'all right out the gate. So that was 3 right out the gate. I'm gonna be honest, you know, when I started seeing some of these videos, I started seeing a lot. And I'm like, clearly we have an issue going on to where, you know, men out here feel that they cannot be vulnerable with women. They cannot be transparent with women. And like I said, there were so many videos that came across that honestly I did not expect to see. You know, even earlier when I dropped the topic, you know, and I just mentioned this situation with Vince is on the panel. You know, Vince, he shot me a couple videos. And I was like, damn, so he got some more to add to what I got. I was like, wait a minute. So I'm like, this is the thing right here. Hey, Herschel, I just sent you the link, man. This is the thing right here. So yeah, see, I'm seeing more and more instances of fellas, and I got one more video, but we'll keep that to later in the show. But I'm seeing more and more instances of fellas, you know, talking about the fact that they can't be vulnerable with women. And, you know, just some of the conversations that's taking place around it. So I think that it is a valid conversation, right? Because on this show, you know, ultimately we're trying to change our trajectory, trying to bring Black men and Black women back together. So we got to have these conversations as uncomfortable as they can be, as triggering as they can be. We got to have them, because at the end of the day, if we can't sync up or connect, then there is no us. It's as simple as that. So let me anybody down in the comments, drop a comment. Let me know what you think or thoughts about any of the videos that you saw, because I got some questions tonight. I see we got some ladies down here, so I definitely got some questions. But I'm gonna come to the panel. So Chloe, Vince, just based on what y'all saw, what y'all thinking, what y'all feeling, anybody can kick us off. I see Herschel just hopped on. What's going on with your brother? But yeah, what y'all thinking? What y'all thinking about this topic? You muted, Vince.
I say absolutely not. Men cannot be vulnerable, because vulnerable in society is deemed as a sign of weakness. And if we don't know anything else, we have seen that in general, the society, women don't really care about what men think and how men feel. Because once we start talking that, then you're too emotional. Men don't talk. Men don't do this. Men don't do that. But you want us to talk, but you don't want us to talk too much. You want us to communicate, but not communicate too much. Only reason why you want us to communicate is to agree with you. Is to agree with your triggering, agree with your peace or whatever y'all, everybody talking about now. So, and then the other thing is that men are just not vulnerable in society. Had a example of that was a lady who was in the Trump camp. She had went on trial. She was one of the attorneys, and she was crying like a baby, just crying. I said a man could never do that. He would be seen as weak, as a punk. But she was crying, and they were like, "Oh, well, let's show her sympathy." And she was one of the attorneys, and she was real big and bad before. But then when she got caught, and she was on that judgment stand, crying like a baby, I said, "Men can't do that. Men can't be that vulnerable." So I say, absolutely not.
Okay, I feel that. Let me go to Chloe. Chloe, you want to say anything on this?
I mean, it's unfortunate, but I have to agree. I was watching a completely different podcast, and there was a gentleman on there, and he was, just kind of talking about some of his trauma and some things that he had been through, and instantly, the women just kind of the women just kind of pounced. It was like they saw blood in the water and they pounced on it. All of a sudden they were asking all these questions. They were questioning him. And granted, he said things. He definitely, what they were calling him out about, he definitely had said the things that they had said. But it was the fact that he was being a little too honest, I think. And they didn't in this particular case, they didn't necessarily agree with his honesty. So even though he was being vulnerable and saying, I feel this way because of my trauma, and I feel this way because of the things that I've experienced, they weren't in agreement with his perspective. So then, of course, now it became well, we're sorry, for who hurt you. But it came off very disingenuous. It was, well, who hurt you? Like, we're so sorry that you were hurt. And I think that's unfortunate. This particular gentleman, he was able to stand 10 toes down in what he was saying. But at the same time, it's bad that as women, we say we want emotionally intelligent men.
Right.
But then when men show themselves to be emotionally intelligent, then we get the ick. All of a sudden, he's unattractive. Like, we're not interested anymore. So I agree. As much as I would like to say it's not the truth, it is. Like, it's a very delicate balance. And I don't think as women that we don't understand that when we say you need to be a man's piece, this is what we mean. You need to be his soft place to live. He needs to know that although he might get judged out in the world, that when he comes to you, he can bring all of the things that he can't show in the world, that he can't say, and he can bring those things to you and lay them in your lap or lay them at your feet, and you're going to build him up. You're going to encourage him. You're going to nurture him. That is what we do. That's our nature. So when a man feels like he can't get that from you, I hate to say it, but sometimes this is what's driving a man into the arms of another woman. Because the things that they want to receive from you, they're unable to. And then, I don't like the idea that we're taking the things that men are giving us and we're throwing them up in their face. It's a bad look, ladies. I mean, we have to take this feedback and we have to hold ourselves accountable.
Straight like that. Okay. Let me go down to my guy Herschel. Herschel, did you catch any of the videos, man, or you need us to run something for you, man? You muted right now, man. You muted.
Yeah, I unfortunately didn't catch the videos, but you don't have to run them back. I guess you don't want to keep your show going. So if you want to either go into another topic or whatever, you can keep it going.
Okay, yeah. Just a quick sum. I said they were talking about the fact that guys can't be vulnerable. Right, okay. Guys cannot be transparent. They can't reveal, any of those transparent issues. Like that's just not something that guys are afforded in this society. And I there's a term that keeps coming up, and I said this is the question that I want to propose to the panel and the comment section, because I'm trying to understand really where is it coming from. Why is it considered weak when a guy is vulnerable? Like, why weak? Out of all of the words that could describe a man being vulnerable, why is it weak? Yeah, I'm just curious. Somebody give me your opinion. I said, somebody down in the comments, drop a comment. Why do we classify it as weak? Because I'm thinking about words like emotional. I'm thinking about words like sensitive. Like, I'm thinking about all type of words. But out of all of the descriptors we could use, we chose weak.
I think I don't know. Listen, I'm only going to speak from a female perspective and try to answer to the best of my ability. I think women are the ones who use that term the most.
Right.
That's just my opinion. But I believe women like to pull things like weak, sassy, zesty, he and his feelings, because they're insults. And we know that men are very much about their pride, and men have egos. And we know that those are just very quick, very effective ways to cut into a man's ego and to hurt his pride. Because man will be seen as quote unquote weak, especially to his woman. So we know that we can use that as a weapon. So this man just being a whole person and expressing some emotion or some feelings, which he's totally capable of and should be allowed to do. For us, if, like I said, if we don't like what's being said, if what's being said makes us feel uncomfortable or makes us feel some type of way about ourselves, then we have to project. And now he's weak. And now he's sassy. So for me, I think it's just another one of those terms that's overused. It's not weak for a man to be able to express himself or talk about something that he's feeling or his experiences. And what's so funny is this is how you know it's a complete manipulation. And one of the most common forms of narcissism is that women will say, I want a man who's emotionally intelligent. And yes, I'm going to ride this way the entire night, ladies, because I'm so sick of you saying it. So I am going to show you yourselves tonight. I am holding the mirror. I'm so sick of you guys talking about how these men are not emotionally intelligent. And then the moment they open their mouths and fix their mouths to say something, that shows you that they are very much capable of connecting with their emotions and communicating them, the first thing you do is call them sassy and say they're weak and ick. So until you are capable to handle what a truly emotionally intelligent man looks like, just stop saying it. Just stop saying it.
That's real.
Okay, I think also it seemed as feminine to be vulnerable and emotional because it's crying, things of that nature. Now, for me, I think I'm a very sensitive guy. I'm in touch with my emotions, but I think that's because the men who I did have around me were very sensitive. I often think about my grandfather, who was a pastor. He was very emotional. Church of God in Christ saved, and he would cry at the drop of a hat. We greet each other with a kiss. Me and all the men on my father's side, we hug and greet each other with a kiss. So I never learned that, well, you can't express your emotions, or you can't cry, or you can't feel some type of way. I cry. A good movie, either The Notebook. When me and Riri watched The Notebook, I was crying like a baby at the end of that movie, just crying, boo-hooing. And she was like, "Oh," she's like, "Oh, you emotional?" I was like, "Yeah, I am. I'm a softie." So I think a lot of that is deemed as being weak because it's deemed as being feminine.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Let me come to Hirsch, because I saw him come off mute. You want to say something, Herschel? You're on mute right now, brother.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I guess two things. The first thing is like from my own experience, which is to me is kind of sad, but the only time in my experiences in relationships or even dating or even talking to somebody, when the only time I've really gotten respect is when I did not act vulnerable. I did not show my emotions and actually acted like I was being rude or disrespectful to them. That's when you, for some reason, I don't know, I never can understand that, when it seemed like I would get them to be more respectful towards me or more attached to me and gravitate to me when I be that way. But then when I start to get comfortable with them and open up and share, then it's like they lose respect. Now they're like thinking like I'm weak or something like that, and even like throwing it back in my face and things of that nature. So I'm still trying to figure out the thing. I think is that we just need to try to find a way to change the narrative about it overall. This is the second thing I'm going into, because actually, because like even to support like what Vince is saying, actually like what he just described as far as his grandfather, the men in his family, those are very strong people, and including him, because you're strong emotionally. And if you don't have emotions, that's where you should be worried about. Like, like this person is detached, they're insensitive, they're not connected. For people to be able to know their emotions, know when they're happy, they're sad, this and that, that's the strongest people out here. And we need to start to promote and preach that, you know what I'm saying? And hopefully maybe over time, people will start to figure that out, you know what I'm saying? But that's just what I feel. But yeah, that's my take on that.
Okay. No, that makes sense, man. It makes sense. I appreciate it. Let's see. Eva Wright dropped a comment. She said a lot of people were taught that it wasn't manly for a man to express himself, especially when emotional. I remember watching a cousin punch his son for crying. I was hurt for his son and him. I appreciate that comment, Eva Wright. Appreciate that comment. And like I said, and I think this is a part of the issue, right? Because a lot of fellas have been conditioned this way. Yeah, they've been conditioned that they can't be vulnerable, or they can't express themselves. But then in turn, I think that our ladies or our women have been conditioned as well. And they now frown upon that man being vulnerable or being transparent or displaying some of his emotions. And I'm like, do we realize through this conditioning that a lot of these fellas will get to a point where eventually they just gonna crack? Yeah, because when you create an environment where a man does not have a safe space to land or release, I mean, that's more accurate. Let me say where a man does not have a safe space to release. If all of that stuff is bottling up in this man, and he just grinning and bearing it, going to this job, acting like everything is okay, acting like everything peachy. You ask him how he doing, he just say, I'm good, knowing he lying. Like, do we realize eventually that man is essentially going to have his version of a breakdown? Yeah, but then at the same time, we'll come behind that and say that somehow he's lacking because he don't want to be vulnerable. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild what we got going on out here. But we really got to sit down and think about this. I'm trying to paint the picture, but we really got to sit down and think about this. And this is going from generation to generation. Yeah, the young fellas, the young females, they getting fed the conditioning right now. Yeah, this is literally going from generation to generation. Let me get some more of these comments. Let's see. Kenyatta said, let's see. I say, know your person. A man should be able to be vulnerable with their mate. Women should understand it's okay for him to do so. Yeah, no, Kenyatta, I agree with that. But I guess my response question to that would be, do the ladies really want to? Yeah, because it almost paints the picture of if a man chooses to be vulnerable around a female, and somehow there's going to be essentially backlash to him being vulnerable. Like, honestly, do she actually want him to be vulnerable? Yeah, but I think some of these things we got to keep it a buck, because sometimes I wonder if that man being vulnerable may reveal something to that lady that she don't want to hear. So basically, she rather him just shut up because she don't want to have to be accountable for nothing that he's about to be vulnerable about. Yeah, so sometimes I wonder if that plays into this situation as well. Let me get some more of these comments. Let's see. Even Right said, right, then the cycle continues, then he will explode. Facts. Yep, and I think we've seen some of those examples today. That stuff will manifest in different ways. Somebody gets hurt. Yep, somebody's property getting damaged, somebody's relationship getting severed, some kids getting abused, what have you. Like, there's all types of things that will come from a situation like that, where you got a man that's bottled up because he has no safe place to express himself. See, Kenyatta also said, women walk up to your man and women walk up to your man and hug him. That hug can go a long way. Facts. Yeah, facts. I agree with that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I just I'm really trying to understand this thing because I think we're at a point, or we're in a time where we know that the dating pool is all jacked up. Yeah, we know that a lot of our relationships are rocky or aren't happening at all. We know it's a lot harder for people to communicate because, everything is quick, fast, in a hurry via social media and swiping left on the dating apps and all of this type of stuff, right? So the whole social aspect is being affected. But then we're still at a point where a man and a woman, well, in this case, a man, still can't be vulnerable with you without coming under attack from it. Yeah, we're still at a point where we're saying we want somebody to be able to communicate effectively, but then we really don't want to hear them communicate. So I don't know. Yep, I don't know. I guess this is my question. Let me pose a question. I see we got some ladies out here. Let me pose a question to the ladies. Ladies, all the ladies down in the comments. I can only ask this question one way. Ladies, what do y'all want these fellas to do? Go ahead. You want to say something? Go ahead, Chloe.
It's funny that you asked that because I was really just about to make a point. Like, I think that this conversation takes like real honesty and transparency for women, right? Because we are talking about the fact that men don't feel like they can be vulnerable. And who are we talking about? They don't feel like they can be vulnerable with their significant others, the women in their lives. They already know not to go out to the world and expect that. They already know. They're not trying to do that, but they do and would like to be able to come home though to their significant other, especially a woman who they have committed to and dedicated their life to and is protecting and providing for. They definitely want to be able to do that. So that takes for us as women to be really honest and say that, yeah, we I'm just gonna say it, like a lot of us, and I'm not taking this on myself, but I'm just gonna say a lot of us, I'm speaking for women in general. Obviously, this won't apply to every single woman alive, but a lot of us don't want to hear it. We want to go to work every day, come home, bring the money, do what we need you to do around the house, be available for the kids how we need you to be available for the kids. You know, be here for us physically so we can get off and do all of the things that we need to do. We need you to do, and shut it. Shut up about it. You a man. Suck it up. That's the truth. That's not what we should be or how we should feel, but that's the truth. That's why the first thing we want to do is peg a man as weak for doing anything other than that. Because that's really all we want you to do. We don't want you to be too emotional. We want you to share a little bit, you know, but we don't want you to share too much because you're gonna go off, start sharing this stuff, and you're gonna say something about us.
Thanks.
See, we don't want to do nothing more than what we already doing. So just shut up.
I think it's also that sometimes when men are vulnerable and emotional, it's viewed as making excuses.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? And women don't really want to hear men making excuses. But y'all can come all day with y'all problems at work and problems with kids and problems with this. And you just want us to just sit there, yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. They don't know. Yeah. That bitch. Yeah. Really. Yeah. But then we say something, oh, we're complaining. We're making excuses. Just like you said, Chloe, just suck it up and be a man. Yeah.
Much because just like y'all don't want overly masculine woman. We don't want no, soft, super soft dude. Like we don't want that. Let's just be honest. Y'all don't want us to be too masculine because it's a turn off. And we don't want y'all to be too soft because it's a turn off. And what I think the problem is, we're not trying to find a balance. Women are not trying to find a balance. And well, not all men. Some men can keep the balance, obviously. Honestly, y'all don't really got a choice. I think that you guys have unfortunately accepted that you're just not gonna you're not gonna really be able to just ever rest in any kind of softness. Like y'all, and I hate using the word softness, it's the wrong word to use, but y'all Y'all really not going to be able to do that. I feel like men have sucked it up for the most part. I feel like y'all do understand that you're just not going to be able to do it. You've kind of settled into the fact that you're a man and it is what it is. That's bad though, because I think that's why we're seeing our young boys have so many mental issues. That's a part of it. I think that's why we're seeing men now just be like, they throw their hands up and like, I don't even want to do it no more. I'm done. I'll just be by myself and I'll just go off over here and it's good. Because at the end of the day, y'all have already accepted the situation for what it is. And as women, we're too busy wanting to justify our feelings and our behavior, so much so that we don't want to have to really do anything to address it. We know it's a problem. We don't want to have to do anything to address it. So, we've become okay with just kind of letting y'all pretend like everything is okay. We know it's not. No woman is living up in a house with a man and can't tell that something's going on with that man. But she don't want to rock the boat, because if she get to asking him and he actually start to speaking, somewhere up in that is going to be something that she don't have to do. And she don't want to do it.
Yeah, no, that's real right there. I guess this is my thing though. In its most simplest form, have we ever even considered that some of these fellas, they might be tired? Yeah, I wonder how often does that thought even cross a lot of folks' minds? A lot of these fellas probably are getting tired. Yeah, even though they've accepted, what it is, and they just rolling with the punches, as they say, or they just, like Vince said, they just sucking it up, manning up. But I mean, have we considered that a lot of these fellas are getting tired? Yeah, because they've been doing that for so long. Yep, and it's secretly affecting them. See, I don't know. Let me go to my man Hirsch real quick. So Hirsch, give me your honest opinion. So I know there's, can be some kickback for the fellas being vulnerable. Do you think guys should still be vulnerable regardless?
I feel that kind of going to one of the comments that Kenyatta said about knowing your man or knowing your woman. I think that's where we got to go first. We just got to kind of know who we're with and what we're with and what they're about. You know what I'm saying? Because again, there might be I'm just use me for example. I might have chosen a female it's been ingrained since like generation to generation. So she's really a hard type of, emotional person, as far as like where she's never seen a man in her family cry. You know what I'm saying? So right. That's what I chose. And, if I don't know, I'm saying so if I didn't be my genuine self, you know what I'm saying, I don't think it's going to work regardless. So if I'm the type of person that's going to be like emotional and this and that, I'm thinking it probably just eventually just won't work with that person. You know what I'm saying? Right. I think the person has to just be on board. People have to be on board with who that other person is, and have to be able to accept who they are and how they are. So, I mean, like I said, it could snowball and backfire on a person if they just want to try to start being vulnerable and emotional to somebody that's not going to receive that. You can't just force it on a person. I mean, I've done that in the past. I know that for a fact. Where I thought I was comfortable with being able to share or start the thing where a person texts, "What's wrong?" And then most guys would be like, "Oh, I'm nothing. I'm cool." Then they come and complain and saying, "Well, you never share what's wrong." So then I actually did. I started sharing what's wrong, and now I'm in the doghouse, having attitudes, right, silent treatments, and now I'm just this terrible guy. And I'm sitting over saying, "Well, see, that didn't even work. I was trying to open up and share, and now you're complaining and then you're trying to allude to me like I'm like being like a female or being feminine or complaining, you know what I'm saying? So it's like a no-win situation. So I think at the end of the day is just we just have to kind of like know who we're getting into or what we're getting into, you know what I'm saying? And then learn to accept it or not, or learn to adjust with it or not. But I think if somebody is not, if they're not with that, it's going to be hard to like, mold them. It's possible, but but I just think people need to be their unique self. Like, so for example, if there's a man that is vulnerable or an emotional person, I say continue to do that. And then until you get linked up with the right person that will receive that, that's my advice about it.
Okay. No, that makes sense. No, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Let me get some of these comments then. I'm going to run a little more content right after this. Let's see. Eva Rice said, men need support, encouragement, and love too. Balance is selfish and aren't as emotionally intelligent as they think they are. Man, Eva Rice said she want all the smoke. So Eva, how you gonna call these ladies out and say that they not as emotionally intelligent as they think they are? I happen to agree with you though, Eva, right? I happen to agree with you because I say this all the time. But I appreciate this comment. This comment is spot on right here. Comment is spot on. This shout out to Crystal Reed. She said, I think the gentlemen are getting tired. No, this is facts. Yeah, but I don't think we ever consider this. To the point that the points that Chloe was making earlier, I think we've really gotten into a mindset that we want a lot of these guys to just shut up and keep working. Yep, shut up and keep going. Yeah, I know you just left the plant working your 20-hour shift, but yeah, I need you to come on home, cut this grass. That trash need to go out, the door squeaking, the spider crawling. Like they don't honestly, I don't know if they really care. Yeah, you a man up, suck it up. And I think we've just adapted that attitude, and it just plays out in multiple aspects of life. But yeah, I don't know if folks even care anymore. It's true. I don't even know if they even care if these dudes are tired, to be honest with you. They're going to ride that thing into what they say, ride it till the wheels fall off. I think that's how folks look at a lot of these fellas these days, to be honest, to be honest with you. Yeah, but then don't come in when, your money coming in a little short. You're not 6 feet tall. It's going to be even worse. So, yeah, we got to get real about this thing. Yeah, we prematurely, killing a lot of these brothers. Well, let me not say that. We prematurely wiping out a lot of these brothers out here. Yeah, just based on the way that we view fellas today, in 2023. So yeah, we got to get real about this thing. But I'm gonna drop one more video. I'm not gonna keep us on here all night. I'm gonna drop one more video. Because I saw Jeezy and Nia talking about this, touching on the same topic. So it's definitely right on time.
So you were saying that you feel like we can't connect because we're doing too much time fighting each other.
Absolutely.
Instead of fighting for the relationship.
We're fighting for love and understanding and commitment and compassion. But it starts with men feeling, comfortable enough to be vulnerable and open. And that's a hard thing to ask a man to do because we were not conditioned that way. A lot of us weren't raised that way. It can be considered a sign of weakness in the same way that therapy is considered a sign of weakness. We're talking about your experiences and my experiences. We have more in common than we probably ever thought we did, right? And so to me, that's the thing that makes me feel this sense of urgency to have this conversation with you, but also there's a hopefulness. There's a hopefulness that if we actually each do the work, we can actually come together because there's nothing more important to me than Black people.
Right. People, they need to hear this shit.
Absolutely.
Like they need to know
absolutely
that, that you don't have to be stuck in this place that it's trauma and it's pain and all these things
we're supposed to be living joyful lives. Women are supposed to just be able to be feminine and soft, still be in your power, still be successful, still be mothers, professionals, famous, whatever it is. We can be all of the things, right?
And men should be able to be loving. And I feel like they're going to get emasculated or these things because, and I just feel like if everybody took the time to look inward and to work on themselves
in an honest way,
you have to be honest. And I just feel like if we can do that as a people, we'll be in a better space. I hope and I pray that this conversation can open up different conversations in our culture about being there for each other and not being at odds with each other, no matter what we've been through. And, you know, they give you your flowers. You know, you've done an amazing job in maintaining your integrity throughout your career, right? And as a person, as a human being. And it meant the world to me to sit across from you and just tell you my story. As a man, I just hope that women, our women, black women in particular, can see this and give us a safe space. Really, women all the way across the board, because we as men, like we're hurt to be vulnerable to tell, you know, your partner that, you know, right now I'm in a bad space. We're going through it out here every day. You wouldn't even imagine, right? And there's no safe place for us to land. There's no safe place for us to have these conversations. We can't have it with our homies. We can't have it with our brothers and our partners because it doesn't resonate. It doesn't
translate because they don't have life experience.
Right, and they don't have that empathy there, right? They don't have that mothering, that nurturing thing, you know. And this is like, for me, it's real.
Yeah, shout out to Jeezy and Nia. I said, if y'all haven't seen that interview that she did with Jeezy, definitely go check that out. But that was just a little snippet from the interview. But even in their conversation, they're talking about the fact that these fellas, you know what I'm saying, can't be vulnerable out here. You know, Jeezy's talking about the fact that there's no safe space for these fellas to land, that fellas are in need of the nurturing characteristics that come from our women. When they're trying to be in these vulnerable states and actually be transparent, and it's not there. Yep, it's not available to us. Yeah, but I think one of the key takeaways from that video was the fact that Nia started getting emotional. See, the interesting part about that video is it represents what we live today. I'm willing to bet money, if Jeezy would have started crying on that video, social media posts would be looking really different right now. But we didn't bat an eye. We didn't think twice when Nia got to crying on that video. And the reason she's crying is because it's hitting. It's hitting that spot. And I'm sure Jeezy, it was hitting him too. That's why he was saying what he was saying. But he can't get on there and get, he can't get that vulnerable. Yeah, he better not let a tear come out his, he better not. Let me go to my guy Vince real fast. Vince, so if Jeezy dropped a tear, man, what you think will be talking? What you think will be happening today, man?
It was just like my example of that Trump attorney. I'm telling you, she was crying like a baby, and them other attorneys were sitting there and they about to get 5, 10 years. They can't go up there and start crying. You just can't do it. I mean, it's sad because I'm pretty sure he want to cry more than she do because he got an ex-wife. He's about to have an ex-wife, and he got a small child. At least with her situation, you know, they had been together for a long time, not married. So really, you know, that's just my opinion on the situation. They had already, you know, she said that she never wanted to get married anyway. So it really wasn't a big thing. But it seemed like he should wasn't doing the crime. I mean, 2.5 years of marriage and a 1-year-old. Right. I want to cry for him because it's really sad. You know, I'm going through a situation right now. I told you with a family member of mine that, You know, they about to get divorced and got a small child and just started their life together and it's over already. You know, within maybe 4 years, I think it was. So, but we have to understand also. I made a post the other day is that when we're getting into these relationships, we have to really vet and be intentional from the beginning. I think we get in these relationships and then we want to change somebody. You know, we get in these relationships and she's not as feminine as you would like her to be, but the sex is good, or we living together now, or this and that and other, so I'm gonna just stay in it and I'm gonna change her. Or well, he don't really talk, or he don't do this and I'm gonna change. No, you need to get what you want in the beginning. You know, I always bring up me and Remy because that's my wife, but me and her father are very similar. Her father was crying when I proposed to her. He was crying more than her mama was crying. I was crying, he was crying, but so she's used to a certain type of strong emotional type of man. My father-in-law is very emotional, very sensitive man, but he an OG. You know, for 30 years, paid all the bills, man's man, but he love his wife and he love his girls. You know what I'm saying? So she understands that when I shed that tear, that's strength. That's emotion. That's love. You know, when I see my kids at night and I go sit down sometime, I shed a tear for what God has blessed me with, and we cry together. How the OJ say? Cry together.
Oh
my God!
Oh man, that's that grown stuff right there. That's that grown stuff. Let me get this comment real quick. Let's see, Kenyatta. Let's see. She said it's the effective communication for me. Black people should be able to have these types of conversations without any stigmas or judgments. Facts. Yeah, and I think, like I said, we got a chance to see in that video. I know it was an interview, but Jeezy had to at least feel that the space was safe to at least say what he said. Right. Nigga, we talking about what's Jeezy old nickname, the Snowman. So we know good well they wasn't talking like that back on the corner. They wasn't talking like that. So he at least had to have a level of safety or feel a level of safety and comfort to be able to say some of the things that he said. So yeah, I agree with you, Kenyatta. We do have to be able to have these conversations, especially without the judgment. Yeah, especially without the judgment. Because like some of the videos that I played earlier, for men, they take these things or they hold these things very near and dear to their heart. Yep. So when they decide that they've gotten around a young lady or a female that they feel like they can be vulnerable with or be transparent with, and then when they do that and that female takes a shot at them or that female disrespects them in some way when they're trying to be transparent and vulnerable with you, making that big step that a lot of men don't like to make because they know it can come with repercussions. Yeah, ladies, you can't fumble that bag. Cause like the video said, you only get a chance or two. And then the dude, he just gonna shut down. Yeah. And to be honest with you, I think some ladies, if they were to be honest, they've probably seen it before. Yeah, you've probably been having a conversation with a man and he transparent moment with you in that conversation. And then if you really pay attention, you've noticed that he's just shut down on you. Yeah, you be like, what you thinking? Or what you think about this? And he be like, nah, nothing, it ain't nothing. It's good. He done with it. And it's like that was probably one of those situations where you fumbled that bag. Yeah, when that man was trying to tell you something, you couldn't just listen. Yeah, you was trying to combat what he was saying. You was trying to somehow flip it around like somehow he was the problem. And he was just trying to be transparent and vulnerable with you. And you fumbled that thing. Right. Yeah, but then you wonder why when you come to him on some real stuff, he don't want to give you nothing. Because he thinking back to that time when he tried to do that with you, when he thought he could trust you. That's the key. He thought he could trust you. Yep, and you showed him he couldn't. So now he just don't say nothing. He just keep it bottled up. So yeah, we got to be real about this thing. We got to pay attention, let's say, because it's I'm sure we've seen it. I said, I'm sure a lot of the ladies, if you be honest with yourself, you probably have seen it before. Yeah, you probably have seen it before. You want to say something, Chloe? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on a point in that clip because, I did get a chance to catch the whole interview. It was about an hour long, but it was a good one. And the point that I kind of wanted to touch on was that they were talking about being able to have the conversation, right? And being able to have it in that manner where it's most productive. And I think that this is where we struggle, right? Like, it's one thing for us to say, let's have a conversation. But if we are so busy making points that we're not really listening to the other person, then it's really not going to matter. I think that these podcasts that we see are evidence of that, right? Like, they're evidence of that, because if we don't, if we're having these conversations and we're unable to actually articulate ourselves and it be received, then it goes nowhere. The thing I like about that is she was able to kind of throw in her POV and her perspective at times. The interview was about him, but he didn't stop her from, kind of speaking her piece and giving her point of view. And they were able to kind of bounce off of each other a little bit. And they were able to, kind of draw from each other. And he could agree to some of the things that she was saying from a female perspective. And she agreed with some of the things that he was saying from a male perspective. And it wasn't about, fighting for points. And I think that's what's missing in our communication, and just being able to give each other that grace, right? Once you decide you're going to actually try to communicate more effectively, like Kenyatta said, then you have to understand that that person is not perfect, and neither are you. In a portion of the interview, he said, being able to look at each other, like look inside, right? So that starts with you as an individual. You have to look at yourself and you have to go, am I communicating as effectively? That's wonderful for me to say, when I come to her and be vulnerable, I need her to receive it. You're right. She does need to receive it. But let's look at, how do you communicate though? Because this ain't about putting it back on you, but we do have to look at ourselves. When you communicate, when you come and you bring your feelings and you're trying to be vulnerable, you're trying to express to this person how you feel about something, especially if it's something that about them that made you feel a certain type of way. How are you communicating that? Right? Because we can say, I can't express myself to a person, but is it that you can't express yourself? Or is it the way you're expressing yourself? Because it does matter. This is like a woman coming to you, want to tell you about, something that you did to her, but she yelling and screaming and cussing and fussing. Like, how are you supposed to receive that? How do you actually receive that to do anything with it? You can't. And I think that that's the thing we have to understand too. It's one thing to say, I want to have a conversation, let's be vulnerable. But how do we express that really? Like, what does that really look like? And that does start with you first. So, I mean, if I was to say anything, I would land there because I think that it's time out. Like, we're spinning our wheels. And for me, it's time out for us just kind of being talking heads and making talking points, and just kind of talking at each other. Like, this is literally getting us nowhere. And I know it's a bunch of people making a bunch of money, but it's not helping us at all. It's doing literally nothing for our community. And in a minute, it's going to get to a point where we're all desensitized by it and nobody cares anymore. And then what? So I'm in there.
No, that's real right there. That's real right there. Let me get this comment real quick. Let's see. Eva Wright said the last thing anyone wants, man or woman, is to open up about something. Then it's thrown in your face later. That's facts. That's facts. Let's see. Both sides need to stop doing that. Both sides need a safe space. No, it's true. Yep, that's true. And like I said, I think some of that even, I said, it's almost like people's defense mechanism. Yeah. So if they think that you are going to say something that they don't like or something that reflects on them, then let's say they want to shut it down or they want to throw it back at you. Yeah, because at the end of the day, they don't want to own that thing. Yeah, they don't want to own it. So no, valid point. Great comment. Great comment. Well, yeah, no, I wasn't gonna keep us on here all night. I know we just getting back in the game, but I think that, or I thought that this topic was definitely a worthy conversation. I'm seeing way or more and more videos circulating around, men being able to be vulnerable and, how they catch repercussions for being vulnerable with women, or how they get jumped on being vulnerable, or how, when they present the problem, it gets flipped on them and they become the problem when they were the person having the problem to begin with. Yeah, and it's a lot circulating right now. So I thought it was a worthy conversation. And what, based on the conversation that we all just had in the comments as well, it definitely was a worthy conversation. So I'm gonna take some closing lesson. We're gonna get on out of here tonight. We're gonna keep it short. Let me get this comment, then I'm gonna come back to the panel. See, Donovan said a lot of women aren't nurturers today. I feel that point right there, Donovan. I feel that point. He said a vulnerable man forces his woman's nurturing side to be present. That's real too. It's real too. Good comment, man. Good comment. All right, let me go to the panel. Let's and we're gonna get on out of here. Actually, I'm gonna go to Hirsch first. I'm gonna go to Chloe, and I'm gonna go to Vince, and we're gonna get on out of here. Hirsch, you want to say anything closing before we get out of here, brother?
Yeah, I feel like it. This is why it's so important for family. The family structure to be there. Because I think what I tell a lot of people is like a lot of things that we deal with in life. I feel like it starts in the home. It starts with where you were, brought up, your upbringing, what you saw, what you were exposed to. So I think that if a lot of us had saw an exchange between a man and a woman being vulnerable towards each other, with each other, then it would be normal. You know what I'm saying? But the house has been broken, so people are just in survival mode, and again, and they don't, some like people that don't even get a chance to see their father at all, let alone even see let alone even see him in a vulnerable state. You know what I'm saying? They don't see him at all, so they have nothing to go by. And as far as I'm talking about from both, whether it's a son or a daughter, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's where it is. That's what we got to try to work towards, like keeping families together or just keeping a structure. It doesn't have to even be, it could be a blended family, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be like the exact biological stuff, just a structure where it has the man and the woman and they're both just a healthy relationship between a husband and a wife or a mother and a father. So they can carry that on. And that's what we need to do with that's been broken, I think.
Makes sense, man. Makes sense. Appreciate that. Let me go to Chloe. Chloe, you want to say anything before we get out of here?
Yeah, honestly, I think I've pretty much said all that I can say, other than the fact that I think, for women and men, I think it's time for us to, stop with the blame game. What I did like about the conversation that they had, because we're using them as tonight's case study, right? I think that I appreciated that he took accountability for a lot of the things that he had done and he had experienced. And I think that that's the lesson, right? That's the major takeaway. Like, it's really time for us to start taking accountability for our own actions, our choices, our behavior, because that's how you really heal. You cannot truly heal from any experiences if you're still looking for someone to blame, or you're not taking accountability for it, or you're ignoring it, you're burying it. You have to take accountability. That's the first step. Honestly, until you take accountability for your behavior, there's no point in you. Don't bring anybody else into your world. Don't do it, because all you're going to do is project the trauma that you haven't healed from onto the other person. And listen, healing is a journey. You don't go to a couple of counseling sessions and think you're healed. You don't, change your hair, change your face, change your, butt or anything else, and then think you're healed. That's not how it works. It is literally a process, and you have to walk through that process. And to be honest, if you have any kind of trauma, you're going to be healing from it for the rest of your life, because that's it. It's not how it works. You don't just boom, bam, I'm done, I'm over it. That's not how it works. So I think that if we want to say we want healed relationships, we want healed people, we want emotionally intelligent people, then we have to be those people. All of this stuff that we're asking for from other people, we can start by being those things ourselves.
Facts. Simple as that. Appreciate it. I'm going to my guy Vince. You want to say anything before we get out of here, brother?
Yeah, I think that there needs to be a sense of vulnerability for men in relationships with women. If we're trying to be one, if we're trying to build families, if we're trying to love each other, you have to be open. You have to be open lines of communication. I think that's something that we definitely need. But we have to feel like we're in a safe space. We have to feel like the things that we're going to share is that we're sharing it with someone that's going to be loving and nurturing, and that's going to really listen and love us through our pains, because we all have something. We all have trauma. We all have childhood trauma and things that we have to get through. But we have to be open and vulnerable and emotional to one another to make it work.
Facts. No, I agree with that, man. Good close. Well, y'all just say this and then we'll get out of here. I think one of the important pieces I'll just say is, I can only say this one way. If sometimes folks just need to just shut up. Yep, and what I mean by that is sometimes we just got to learn how to just shut up and let the other person talk. Yeah, let them get it off their chest. Stop trying to be triggered. Stop trying to interpret what you think they saying versus what they just said. Like, we got to cut all that mess out. So sometimes it wouldn't do us too bad to just shut up. Just shut up, be quiet, just listen. Yeah, there's a good chance some of these fellas might be vulnerable. Sometimes we just shut up and just listen. Yeah, I know ladies jump on fellas all the time. Oh, I just want you to listen. I don't want you to solve the problem. I don't need you to fix it. I just want you to listen. Okay, well, ladies, you got to do the same thing in return. Just be quiet and listen. Yeah, don't be trying to see it if he talking about you. Is it something? Yeah, do all that. You can try to get in your feelings, so you can try to shut down what he's saying. You ain't got to do none of that. You just be quiet and listen. Let my man get it off his chest. And who knows? He might get comfortable doing that. Yeah, he might get comfortable being transparent and being vulnerable with you. And I guarantee you that's going to take your relationship or your little thing you got going on to the next level. So yeah, I'll keep it simple like that. Sometimes we just got to shut up, be quiet. Well, man, shout out to everybody who rocked with us tonight. Shout out to my guy Donovan, Eva Wright, Crystal Reed, Kenyatta in the building, Nicole, IT in the building. We appreciate you guys rocking with the platform, supporting us, supporting what we do every Wednesday on Kandid Konvos. Shout out to my panel, Chloe, Vince, Hirsch. Appreciate y'all holding me down, having these great conversations, bringing your perspectives, and making for progress. Yep, that is why we're here. We're here for progress. We're here to change our trajectory as a people. We're here to converse. Yeah, we're all different from different backgrounds, different experience levels, different genders, different life stories. But we all got value to bring to the conversation. So, Les, I appreciate my panel holding me down, holding down the show, holding down and supporting what we're trying to do. Man, this is Kandid Konvos. We do the show every Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Every Wednesday night, we go live on YouTube and Facebook. So definitely like, share, subscribe. Do me a favor, everybody watching, hit that like button for me. Hit that like button. Likes are free. Hit that like button and also hit that share because we're trying to get this to as many of us as possible. But man, with that being said, everybody have an awesome night, and we will catch you guys next Wednesday.